Hi guys, how are you doing today? Are you ready for new stories? I have 5 for you today. Let's go to the first one, about OP's mother, who demands OP be a personal driver to her coworker because she is pregnant. Enjoy the stories, guys, and don't forget to like and subscribe. And of course, don't forget to leave a comment. My mom is kind of the mother hen at her work, and she ends up making lots of friends with the girls she works with. A lot of these friends have been there for her through major things like divorce and ill health, and I'm glad my mom has awesome friends that she can trust and rely on. A few of them even took her on an all-expense-paid trip to Cancun for a few weeks after she recovered from a nasty illness, so I do know they love her, and vice versa. She has 3 boys and always wanted a girl, so lots of these women are in their 20s, and they absolutely adore my mom, and the feeling is mutual. Like, her Facebook is full of them taking her out to brunch and stuff on their days off, etc. They're close. My mom is terrified of driving because when she was a teen, she ended up accidentally hitting someone, and although she was never charged with dangerous driving, she gave up her license and has never driven again. I work a full-time job with my dad, but I'll always make time to drive my mom around, as my 2 brothers don't live close, and she used to rely on my dad, but since the divorce, I've stepped in. She has made a new friend at work who's in her early 20s. She's only known her this past year. This girl is pregnant and doesn't have family or friends to help her out. She needs help going to and from the hospital appointments, and Ubers are racking up, and buses are notoriously late or diverted in my town. My mom called me up pleading with me to take her friend to at least 3 future appointments, and some shopping trips for the future baby. My mom said that she's going alone, blah blah. She has no one to help. My mom is vested in making sure this girl is okay, etc. I'm reluctant to help because I don't think it's my issue. I'm happy to help out Mama, and I've driven her friends around before when my mom is also with them, but taking someone to their hospital appointments seems kinda weird. My mom is a bleeding heart and loves fixing things and people, and she has asked me to do it as a favor to her because this girl is down on her luck, and she's asked my mom to be this baby's godmother because my mom has been such a pillar of support. It's all a little weird to me, but the major reason I don't want to do it is because I mentioned this to my girlfriend, and she was not happy with the thought of me basically being this chick's private Uber, and I can see her point of view. I'm also genuinely super busy, and my life is all about making money, so if it's not immediately for my loved ones, I'm out. My mom is really disappointed and has been paying for this girl's Uber herself, which is insane to me. And I do feel guilty, but over my mom, not this chick. Am I an a-hole because I refuse to take her? I don't think OP is an a-hole. It's fine if mom wants to do things to help out this girl, but OP needs to try and not to get sucked into this girl's problems or start taking her places. It would be totally inappropriate, and being that OP is a man, could lead to some pretty darn awkward situations. OP's girlfriend has every right to be upset and think this is really weird. OP's mom has chosen not to drive. That is completely her choice, and it's commendable that OP is helping her by driving her around. But she needs to understand, and OP needs to very firmly tell her that helping her is the very limit of OP's personal capacity. I'm 29 male with one sister who is 32, 32nd B-Day party. The short version of the background is that when I was 15, my parents got divorced. It turned out my dad was having an affair and got a woman pregnant. My dad lied to us and said he would have nothing to do with the child if the family would stay together. 2 months later, he told me that the mother of the child was not going to have it. Second lie. About a year passed when we found out about these lies and that the child was born. My mom immediately served him divorce papers. The divorce was really messy. My mom went into a horrible depression and was a heavy drinker for the next decade before checking into rehab. She came out successful, and she has been doing really well ever since. She remarried a great guy, and we have a great relationship with his family. Even though I was mid-20s when I met him, I joke around calling him dad, and he loves it. He's always wanted a son and has 4 daughters, all very nice as well. As for my dad, my sister and I stopped talking to him for what he did to our mom and breaking up the family. We are still close with his side of the family, however. Last Christmas, my dad's sister had told my mom that he was in a deep depression and had lost his job. My mom, out of the kindness of her heart, encouraged my sister and I to reach out to him. We did, and we slowly started talking again over the year. He was honest and told us that his mistress was an addict and was going to lose the kid to the system. He told us how he took the kid in 3 years ago to avoid that fate and has been raising her ever since. She is 14. We agreed to keep in contact with our dad, but we did not want to have any contact with the child. He respected it at first, but then got really pushy for us to at least meet. My sister and I both firmly said no. So this brings us to past November. I was hosting a party for my sister's B-Day with Dad's side of the family. We invited him and was thrilled to come. It got out before my dad arrived that he was going to bring his daughter. My sister and I were having none of it. I waited on the porch for 20 minutes for my dad to show up and told him off. I told him that they were not welcome here and we were not going to accept our half-sister. They started crying and my dad left. I went back inside where the family was fighting. Half of the guests thought my dad was the a-hole. The other half thought my sister and I were. The party went on awkwardly for a while before everyone left. Since then, I haven't spoken to my dad after a brief phone call later that night. My sister and I have also barely talked to my dad's side of the family since that day. I feel sorry for the girl, as she is not guilty for the affair, but I think OP is not an a-hole. It was a massive manipulation move. OP's father wanted to force OP and sister into meeting the kid when they've been adamant that they wouldn't. He also involved his extended family by telling them his plan. Yes, it sucks for the girl, but the dad was the one who set her up for this, not OP. Without a doubt, if OP hadn't made the stand that he did, Dad would have kept forcing her on them. I wouldn't be surprised if he even hoped to ultimately send her to live with one of her half-siblings. Of course, none of this is the girl's fault, but OP doesn't have to have a relationship with people just because there's a genetic connection. My wife's sister and my wife are very close. Last week, I came home and my wife was crying. She had a huge argument with her sister. Her sister confessed to my wife that she was having an affair with a guy from her work. Her sis is married to a great guy and they have 2 kids. My wife told her to stop it and confess the affair to her hubby. She said no, so my wife kicked her out and went no contact. I do part-time private investigation work specializing in cheating spouses, and my wife asked me to check into her sister and the affair partner. I did. It didn't take long, as they weren't very secretive about it. I got several pics and 2 videos with audio. Yes, a few laws might have been bent, so sue me. Her parents called to finalize the plans for Christmas at our house and saw that my wife didn't invite her sister, but did invite Sis's hubby and kids. Her parents asked what was up and told my wife she needs to fix whatever problem is between the 2 sisters. My wife said it was something that never could be fixed and to ask her sister what is wrong. A few hours later, my wife's parents stormed into our house and yelled at my wife, asking her how she could cheat on me and her kids. Apparently, the parents went over to the sister's house, and the sister made up a story about my wife cheating rather than admitting to her affair. I went and got my tablet and showed the pics and the video to the parents, and they were both crushed and mad. They left our house and went back over to the sisters and confronted her about the affair in front of her hubby. He grabbed the kids and went to his parents, telling his wife his attorney would be in contact with her. On Facebook, both my wife and my pages got bombarded with some comments from her other brothers and sisters, as well as extended family. Some attacking her and me for outing her sister's affair, and a few supporting us. I have no doubt I was right in telling the parents about their other daughter's cheating, especially to protect my wife's reputation. But a lingering voice in my head tells me I went about it in the wrong way. So, am I the a-hole? OP is definitely not an a-hole. OP was put in a position to defend his wife's character, and that's exactly what he did. Her parents weren't going to believe OP, insisting she wasn't cheating on OP. because they would just pity OP for having faith in someone who betrayed him. OP's sister-in-law lost her right to that privacy once she cast the blame back on OP's wife. Here's the situation, put as succinctly as possible. My husband, Ali, 30s, and I, 30s, have been married for 5+ years. Ollie's parents, David, 60s, and Grace, 60s, were married 30+ years. A few years ago, David had an affair with Jill, 30s, and they had a baby, Bella. Everything blew up, and Grace divorced David. At the same time, Jill dumped him. Turned out, he was lying to and gaslighting both of them. As soon as Jill dumped him, he dropped his relationship with Bella like a hot potato. In my opinion, David is a narcissist megalomaniac. In 2018, I finally met Jill, and it turns out she's lovely. She has shown me proof that David lied about his relationship status and everything else. The man she thought she was dating was not the man David really was. She has also proven to me time and again that she is not the evil gold digger that my in-laws made her out to be. David has continued to lie, gaslight, and manipulate, and Grace, though they are divorced and living separately, is still his wing woman. Despite their propaganda campaigns, Ollie and I now consider Jill and Bella family. Jill and Bella have nowhere to spend the holidays. Jill's parents are super high risk, so they're not getting together. Same with my parents, who we usually spent the holidays with. Ollie has a tense relationship with David and Grace, so we didn't intend on spending the holidays with them, irregardless of an international health crisis. So Ollie and I decided to ask Jill and Bella to spend Thanksgiving and Christmas with us, just the four of us. David and Grace now know our plans and are absolutely livid. They want us to have nothing to do with Bella until she's 18, and want us to disavow Jill completely, as we are not related to her at all. I will admit, I do think my poor relationship with Grace is influencing my choices, since she is so awful to me, and Jill has been nothing but lovely. It's much easier for me to open my heart and my home to Jill and Bella. And there is clearly no love lost between David and I, as I think he's a dumpster fire of a human being. Ollie and I do genuinely love Bella and want whatever is best for her. She's a wonderful child who is truly innocent here. She just wants to spend time with her big brother and sister. And Jill just wants some normalcy for her kid and thinks that the bigger the support system Bella has as she grows up, the better. Ollie will likely never be as close to Jill as I am, but supports our relationship and wants what's best for Bella. And being a friend and ally with Jill is the best thing for Bella. So, are we the a-holes for choosing to spend the holidays with my father-in-law's former affair partner and young child? My husband's half-sister? Ollie's cousins refuse to see the nuance of the relationships and think we're absolutely a-holes to choose to spend our time with this other woman, baby mama, gold-digging slur, and her kid, and choosing them over Ollie's parents, my in-laws. I don't think OP is an a-hole. Bella is OP's husband's half-sister, not the gold-digging slur baby. It's not her fault at all what happened between her parents, and all the crap storm that came with it. I see many cases where the children of the first marriage don't want anything to do with the kids that are the result of affairs. If OP's husband really wants to have a relationship with Bella, good for him. And if Jill is also for it, good for all of them. If OP's father-in-law didn't want OP to have a relationship with Jill and Bella, he shouldn't have cheated and had a child. He has no right to demand that from her. I got remarried when my daughter was 15 to a woman who had a 12-year-old daughter. For this, we will call my daughter Grace and my stepdaughter Hannah. Grace was all right with me getting married, but she did not like Hannah. The dislike was mutual, and we did not allow for any outright B, but it was pretty bad. Grace asked to stay with friends instead of going on family vacations, and Hannah asked to go to a different high school so she wouldn't have to run into Grace. Hannah is very antagonistic, and Grace rarely started it, but Grace goes for the jugular. When Hannah was 21, she got engaged to Nick. He was all right, but he always seemed sort of depressed, like he was just settling for something in life. I didn't know, but there was something off about him. Nick met Grace at a family party, and I saw the spark, and I knew it was going to end in disaster. Grace says they never physically cheated, but I'll never know for sure. Nick left Hannah, dated Grace, and within a year, he and Grace were engaged. He seemed different when he was with Grace, and I've cheated and been cheated on before. I'm sympathetic about you love who you love. That was 10 years ago, and Hannah is married, though I think Grace and Nick are happier than Hannah and her husband. Obviously, Hannah and Grace hate each other even more. We try to rotate holidays so one will be with us and the other will be with their in-laws. But Hannah's mother-in-law recently died, and his mom was the only reason he saw the family. My wife wants to invite Hannah to everything and have Grace stay home. Her argument is Grace got the better life and the man and is just happier, so she can do without Christmas. I'm not all right with this. I don't even care if Nick and Grace did have an affair. She is my daughter. Also, it's been 10 years, and I'm saying this as someone who had his heart torn out by his cheating ex-wife. There is a time to move on. My wife and I are currently fighting over a 4th of July cookout, and I told her not to ask me to choose. This is my 3rd marriage, but I only have one daughter. In my opinion, OP is not an a-hole. He is correct. She is his daughter, no matter if what she did was right or wrong. OP's wife is wrong to ask OP to exclude his daughter from all holidays, just like he would be wrong if he asked her to exclude Hannah from all of them. It's a shame that the two can't get along, but it looks like that ship has sailed. OP should not let the horrible relationship between the two girls cause him to lose his daughter.